My mammogram actually was in September of 2014, and I was kind of one of those good girls that would show up. I started at 40, I would show up, take my mammogram, and I would make the appointment for the following year on that day. But I say I was a good girl, but in the back of my mind I never thought that this was really anything that I truly needed to fear. I didn't have it anywhere in my family. It was just one of those things you just check off, like you go and get your teeth cleaned twice a year and you get your mammogram once a year. So I showed up. The following day I got a phone call saying, "We want to see you back." And that had actually happened once before too. I didn't think anything of it. I just kind of bebopped back in there and all smiles and sat there, read my magazines, and they called me in and they were just spending so much time on one breast. And picture after picture, I could tell they're being really diligent. It still didn't occur to me that anything was off or odd. And then they asked me to go do an ultrasound, and I was kind of befuddled. I said, an ultrasound? Because that hadn't happened before. And they said, well, we can eliminate the possibility that it is a cyst. And I went in for the ultrasound, and they eliminated that possibility, told me that they want to schedule a biopsy. And it was our actual wedding anniversary that day. It was October 6th. And we had this big plan to go into Boston, have a great day on Newbury, go out to lunch and everything. But this is how our day started, was with the biopsy in the morning and essentially finding out that I have cancer.
Ready? So we don't even have to look at Jay.
Well, the first thing I noticed about Rudy is how dynamic she is as an individual. I'm always impressed when family is so involved and engaged, and Rudy has an excellent family that I always felt that they were part of the journey.
There are those difficulties in sort of knowing what your wife is going through and putting on that brave face for your kids, so they have that confidence that mom's going to be okay and everything's going to be fine.
And I think that's the takeaway here, is like no one is immune. If you start hearing about the statistics, it's 1 in 8 women, which is befuddling. I had no idea. But I'm a person, I literally, with no exaggeration, I exercise 2 to 3 hours a day, religiously, every day. It's just my obsession of choice, and it's a healthy lifestyle. I eat very well. I rarely drink. I breastfed both my children. I don't have it anywhere in my family, and yet, as I say, it came knocking.
We know that cancer will eventually touch the lives of all of us in one way or another, either as patients ourselves or as taking care of one of our loved ones or our friends through treatment. Knowing that a service like this is available close to home for patients really provides a measure of relief that patients, while they're sick and going through services and treatment, don't need to commute to Boston.
One of the things that's unique is there's such a continuum of care, and it's multidisciplinary. In my case, it was surgery, radiation, chemo, reconstruction, and now hormonal therapy.
One of the very special things of treating patients with breast cancer is that it's a multidisciplinary approach, and often we discuss a patient at the time of initial diagnosis with the surgeon, the medical oncologist, the radiation oncologist, the radiologist, the diagnostic, the pathologist, and we'll sit together as a team and we'll say, how are we best going to take care of this patient?
I really strive to develop a good relationship where my breast cancer patients feel very comfortable telling me what their needs are, what their desires are, and we really formulate a real solid reconstructive plan that really addresses their needs, from a surgical and oncology perspective, but also a patient's perspective as well. And I think we did a really good job with Rudy in that perspective.
We opened it up in 2013, October 2013. We opened the doors here at the Corner Stop Eatery.
One of the things about our restaurant is it's right where 3 towns meet. And we set out, when we developed the concept for the restaurant, we just wanted to be a place where the community came together from all these disparate towns, from Hall, Hingham, Cohasset, and beyond, and made it comfortable. And there'd be families in there and grandparents, and it's the type of place you take 3 generations to eat. And I remember walking into the bar one night, and it was hopping, and I just imagined, 1 out of 8 in this packed room, out of the hundreds of people in this room, how many cases will there be? And so that's when I really realized that I had a story to tell.
We came up with the idea of donating 10% of our proceeds for the month of October to Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Once we'd set our minds to doing it, the outpouring from the community and our staff and our friends was tremendous.
Well, we weren't sure how much we would raise when we embarked on the fundraiser for the month of October. For me, it was more about getting that story, that message out, that I was in no way at risk. Developed it, and please schedule your mammograms. Early detection, as they say, it's a cliche, but early detection is everything, and it opens up so many options to you that if you can make that appointment once a year, if I could just scream that from a mountaintop until the last day of my life, I'd die a happy person.